Why is yoga?
When I think about
Uh, Go ahead.
to pre-answer your question, yoga is a philosophy, and yoga is a word, right? So we have subjective words, uh, objective words, intersubjective words, and I think when we communicate, a lot of times we're communicating with these words that um, we think everybody else understands our definition of it. So like an objective word is something like earth, table, lamp, these are things that we all agree on. We could talk about it. If I talk about this glass of water here, I don't need to explain what the glass of water is or whatever. But if I start talking about concepts like fear, love, anxiety, history, uh, it's these are all subjective words. They only have meaning because of the experiences that we've had. My experience with love is going to be very different than your experience with love because or my definition of love is going to be very different than yours because we've had different experiences to it. It doesn't make my definition of it any better or any worse. It's subjective to me. It doesn't mean it's not true. It just means it's my truth. Yoga is another one of these subjective words. And so a lot of people, like when I started practicing, or when I started putting my practice out there on Instagram and YouTube and making it public, one of the things I got all the time was, that's not yoga. Uh, you know, and I felt like I always, oh, yeah, what do you mean it's not yoga? I have to defend myself that, what I'm doing is yoga just because my asana, which is asana means pose, doesn't look like your pose or doesn't look like the traditional poses. Like I felt like I needed to defend yoga, but yoga doesn't need defense from me, right? And also them saying that what I'm doing is not yoga is also true, because it's their experience to it. And so what I do doesn't match up to what they do. And so who's right in that situation? And when you start looking at it as like we're both right. So yoga is a philosophy that for me, so this is my subjective opinion to what it is. It's a holistic practice. It's look and the asana or the poses, the handstands, all that, that's the body, right? And the body doesn't function without the mind. And then you're a vegetable. And the mind doesn't work without the emotions. And the breath becomes this unifying factor that works through the body, the mind, and the emotions or the spirit, or because it links them all together. It's always moving, and it kind of creates that holistic feeling that it's not separate. And so it's being whole is a perspective, I think. And so you're going to be not whole for as long as you have the perspective that you're not whole. But as soon as you change that way that you think and you see yourself as a part of something greater, right? In the book, I talk about like we have, however many cells that we have in our body, like 100 trillion cells. And there's a lot of since I wrote that, there's been a lot of different articles about how many cells. I don't know who's out there counting the cells. Or we have like 30 trillion cells, and we have 100 trillion cells that are bacteria, which is, like we have almost 3 times the amount of bacterial cells. And again, like there's a lot of dispute on this, so I hope I don't get all the haters be like, no, we only have this many, but that's not important. We have all these cells in us. Our bacteria is vital to us living, but it's not us, but yet it is us, right? And we think that all these cells are us, but they're also all different. And so if you think of like, if you go to like separate from that thing, then you take the perspective of being a single cell, then you're going to see the illusion of, the self, whatever, is not whole, and it's just a separate thing. But if you look at society, it's kind of that same different thing. Even those things that aren't us are you. Then it softens your outlook towards people. And I think that's what's important about philosophy. It's not necessarily about agreeing with every aspect of it or buying into it, drinking the Kool-Aid, but it's It's about understanding, how does this philosophy become useful for me? How can I use it to live a more equanimous life, or feel better about how I treat myself, feel better about how I treat other people? And for me, yoga has really been that. And what that is, that word that I use for that is yoga.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
This course has been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.